वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य आणीस्थ श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ May my speech be firmly established in my mind. May the mind too be firmly established in my speech. May there be perfect correspondence between my thoughts, words, and actions. May the self-effulgent Lord be revealed unto me. May the truths of the scriptures come to me. May not what I learn from them ever forsake me. Let me live my life day and night according to their teachings. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Let us feel the divine presence within us as a bright spark of light. In our heart. I am seeing that bright light. It is illuminating my consciousness. I see all darkness of ignorance has gone with that. I see the light becoming brighter and bigger. I see it has pervaded the whole universe. All the names and forms all different shapes. I see permeated with that same divine light. Like the waves on an ocean, permeated by water. I am seeing the divine indwelling in everything. The forms come and go. They are not real. The God permeating all of them and remaining constant, unchanging in the midst of the changing forms. This is my true nature. Experiencing this, all bondages are gone. Om. Peace, peace, peace. So, dear friends, let us begin the discussion on this great biography of Sri Ramakrishna. And once we get the prayers on the screen, we will begin with the prayers. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham shravanamangalam shrimadattatam bhuvi grinanti te bhurida janaha. We were studying a very interesting part in this biography, that how Sri Ramakrishna's teachership was sourced. Where was his teachership coming from? He was teaching human beings about their goal in life and how to attain to that goal. But it was not like a teacher in a school teaching, that the teacher in a school has the understanding that I am teacher and these are the students. I know better than they know. That is basically the reason that the person has come as a teacher. If the students know more than the teacher, then naturally that person will not be given the job. That, well, you don't know, you don't have the qualifications to become the teacher because you don't know. So the teacher is aware that it is I know better than these children or the students, and so I am going to teach them. The teacher studies things, understands in one's own way, and then tries to instill that information in the minds of the student. Sometimes our Sarvagatananji used to tell a nice story about a little child telling the parents, our teachers don't know anything. They don't understand. Therefore, they ask us. The teacher is asking, questions to test the student's knowledge, but the student, that little child thought, the teacher doesn't know. Therefore, the teacher is asking us. So, it is the teachership of Sri Ramakrishna is stemming from a completely different position, and that is the main important thing, that how spiritual wisdom is imparted by these great teachers. It is that what is called a state of bhava mukha, and this state has been described, that is right on the threshold, as it were, staying on the threshold of the uh, understanding of the reality, the truth, beyond all names and forms, and then appearance of that very reality in and through all these names and forms. Both these things were uh, simultaneously perceived by Sri Ramakrishna, just as somebody standing at the threshold on a door, say they would right at the door step, then can see the outside as well as inside. So Sri Ramakrishna was aware of that divine, which is beyond all limitations, which is not confined to time and space, and yet is expressing through in and through so many different forms, thus creating the problem that how this one becomes many. The people who do not have, like all of us, we know this field of confinement, the bondage. We are aware of the bondage, and that is not a matter of challenging or just thinking for us. It is matter of experience that we are bound in this world. That itself is actually an evolution, a spiritual evolution, to be aware of the bondage. As Sri Ramakrishna used to say, that the lowest stage is that where one is not aware even of the bondage. They feel fine. There are a few issues. Maybe I don't have enough money. Maybe that I need some other bigger house or whatever, or I need a different car, some such things. they are seen as some of the minor problems in life, but otherwise this is the life. You do not see that this is a confinement. uh, to see that it is a confinement, you are confined to this body. You are all pervading actually, but confined to this body. It is like worse than being put in a solitary dark cell, that in prison. They sometimes the most these dangerous prisoners, they are put in a solitary cell, confinement. So we are confined like this in this dark cell of the body. We can't shake it off. I am this body. And that awareness is so ingrained and so strong. And that is a confinement, a bondage. When one becomes aware of that, then that is the beginning of the spiritual life. That, well, I am not this body, I am not this piece of matter, I am not this flesh, I am not these bones. These things change all the time. So I am the spirit that is beyond these. This awareness, when it comes, it is not so many words, it is an awareness that comes. We put it in the words for expression, but actually this awareness comes, that yes, I am spirit. I am different from this body. It is the sense of an instrumentality comes there. Like we use instrument, you came in the car maybe, and then that car, you know that you are not the car, you use the car. You got into the car, got out of the car. So you used the car. The description of car is not your description. You are not a BMW or a Mercedes or a Toyota or whatever. It is the description of the car, not your description. Similarly, one starts seeing the body. I am not this body, it is a vehicle that I use. It is just as I fill gas in the car, I feel this fuel in this vehicle, that's all. It is so. This is, I am not this body. This awareness comes, and then that person seeks spiritual wisdom. It may come due to the holy company, it may also come due to some reasons like introspection, or looking at the various experiences that one has in life. Sometimes it comes by reading some inspiring literature. So all this is gives the rise to this idea that uh, I am not this piece of flesh and blood. I am something different from that, something that does not change. And then begins this question, who am I? What is this I? And then that person, depending on the intensity of this urge, gets called a spiritual aspirant. That I am a spiritual aspirant, a sadhaka. And the Sanskrit word for that is I am a sadhaka. And then needs a teacher, a guide. Like when you want to go somewhere, and then it is you start looking for the directions. You buy a GPS or have on your phone GPS. So you use this GPS, the guru, Guru positioning system, that is spiritual GPS, how to guide your life to the proper destination. And then these teachings become useful, available for us. The teachings that come from Sri Ramakrishna are from that experience. Oh, you want to come here, is I understand your plight. I understand what you are looking for, and here is the way. Here is the way. Come here, and there will be the way for us. All divine incarnations have done that. For example, you hear Lord Krishna saying to that, please come to me. Mame vaye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. That those who come to me, they will be able to cross over this maya, this ignorance, and thus realize the truth that here is the guide. Jesus said that I am the goal, I am the way. A very important statement. That what is the meaning? I am the goal. You can see the goal of your life by looking at me, and you will also see the way of getting to that goal in me. Both these things are available in that personification of divinity. So, Sri Ramakrishna used to live at that threshold, and therefore was aware of the multiplicity and the non-duality both. So, last time we stopped when a question was raised about it, that since Sri Ramakrishna was looking at both and accepted both this apparent multiplicity and the oneness, and he could see that the same divine is appearing as all these different forms, and there will be according to the spiritual evolution of a person, various ways of understanding and approaching it. So, the question raised here is that a reader may ask, and this is on page 448, the reader may ask, then was the master not a true non-dualist? The master saw both the nirguna and saguna aspects of the Divine Mother. Nirguna, devoid of any attributes, any specifications, and saguna, with attributes, both. For example, when you think of sugar, you do not think necessarily of a particular form, like if it is in granules or powder or a kind of lump of sugar. These are different forms, but sugar as it is not confined to any of these dimensions or forms. Whatever dimension or whatever appearance you want to have, that is fine, but it is sugar. So, it is the specifications and beyond specifications. So, the reality beyond specification, when you are aware of that's it being beyond all these different forms, and that is called nirguna. But the common idea is that this is the problem with language. When we want to express something that is beyond language, then we run into this difficulty that beyond has the connotation that this is here and that is beyond. And like this is the chapel, the library of Vedanta Society is beyond that lobby. You have to go into the lobby, and then beyond this there is the library. So, the chapel is here and the library is there. That becomes the awareness. But that is not the meaning of beyond here, that God is here and all the specifications, names and forms are here. From the names and forms, then you go beyond them and see the God sitting there. This is a very commonly appearing idea for us because again of our confined thinking. That is how the God is in heaven, we are here, go beyond, and then there is the God somewhere in the heaven. You have to go from this cloud to that cloud to that cloud like that, and then after you go beyond all clouds, then you will see the God sitting on a beautiful throne. So the world remains here and God is there. That is the idea that we get by this word beyond. It is not so. The sugar that is not confined to any form appears in various forms. Like you have the powder, you have the granules, you have the lumps and so forth, you see. So, having these forms does not hurt sugar, not that you really go beyond sugar to get these forms, nor that you really go beyond the forms to get the sugar. It is these forms are interpenetrated, permeated by the same substance. So, the same divine is pervading everything. So, the word beyond should not be taken from that angle. This is the problem even with the word that God is in all. So, immediately we get the idea that there is like a box, and in the box there is cookie. So, this is the box and there is cookie. So, here I am and in me there is God. There is this Ritu, in her there is God. These are all like boxes, and then in each box somehow God has been kept. So, we get this funny idea quite naturally that God is in everyone. This statement we read and immediately the picture comes to us that okay, so this thing is, in that thing there is God. So, Shankaracharya in one of his commentaries in Bhagavad Gita explains it, na kunde badrani iva, not like the fruit kept in a box, in a jar. It is not that it is in a jar that these fruits are kept, not that God is kept in things like that, that the thing is and it is how it is then. That the analogies they galore, but then we have to feel the truth without getting caught just in the analogy. That for example, one can give the analogy that you watch movie and then every picture that you see in the movie, it is on the screen, and the screen is in and through every picture. There is a screen in the movie, that the screen is in the hero, in the heroine, in the villain, in the whatever objects that you see there, even the sun and the stars that you see in the movie, that same screen is in each of them. But it is not like these objects are there and then you put screen into it, like you take a pot and put cookie in it. It is not that all these forms are taken and you have put screen into them. No, they all appear and disappear on this one screen. The same screen is there for the hero as well as villain. And the same screen is there for Rama as well as Ravana, and not two different screens that, oh Rama, God, how can we have the same screen for Ravana, that demon? No, it is the same screen, otherwise the movie will not go. So it is the same screen that permeates everything, which relatively we say good, bad, that thin or fat, oh, so many these things we can give all these specifications, but they are all they changing, vanishing, coming and going manifestations of the screen. That screen looks like this person, this screen looks like Rama, this same screen looks like Ravana, and it is just appearance, that's all. So these are all, just think of it, that the same divine, it is like a big movie on a super IMAX theater. That these are all like pictures, 3D pictures. Yeah, we are all like these 3D pictures. Do you get it, Jim? Yeah. And then the screen that permeates through all of them. Same screen, unchanging, unaffected. Whatever happens in the movie, the screen does not get affected by that. Big war happens in the movie and not a stain of blood on the screen. It is the same screen, just remains as it is, does not get wet. Even you see torrential rains in the movie, or if you see a huge fire, it is in the movie, sometimes you see huge fire like that, towering inferno. It is a huge fire on the screen. People got scared, actually stopped staying in the high rises after that movie. It was, the impact was very big. So it is, but now the screen remained, didn't get even heated, no effect on the screen. So nothing touches God. God remains as it is without any change. That divine appears in all these forms. So that is the with attributes, without attributes. A screen when the movie is going on, and the screen when no movie is going on. Same screen. The screen doesn't become different by that. Its appearance becomes different. So God, in and through all these forms, and the divine presence in what was described earlier here as Nirvikalpa Samadhi, that Samadhi, the perfect concentration where one transcends all attributes and just is established in that attributeless presence of the reality. So this is the Nirguna, Saguna, Nirguna. So, Sri Ramakrishna, he maintained that she, that is the Divine Mother, she encompassed these differences within herself. It therefore seems that he did not accept Shankara's non-dualism, in which the existence of the world is denied. This is one of the wrong interpretations, or only a partial interpretation of what Shankaracharya says. But it is very common misunderstanding about Shankaracharya, that he denied the existence of this world. it is in a particular context these words are used. He has therefore three these tiers, three different levels of this reality existing, like the reality in and through names and forms. That is one layer of existence, which is the Vyavaharika Satya. He says a practical level we use that because we see it, and that is fine, provided it does not cloud our understanding of the same one reality in all these different forms. Like the another analogy, friends forgive me, but there is no other way. You take the analogy of animal crackers, that in and through all these animal crackers, Agrawalji, did you eat animal crackers any time? Animal crackers? So you have the yeah, animal shapes, you know, that there is the rabbit, there is the tiger, there is the elephant, all these. But the children, the babies and all, they are enamored by those shapes, that I want to eat tiger. And if you give, oh well, tiger is not seen, you eat rabbit, it's same. The child will not agree to that. No, I want tiger. That's it. So it is like that, that all these forms, and they are permeated by the same one substance. There is no difference in this substance. But if you are looking at these forms, then you can identify, even though you are an adult, you are not a small baby, you will still see, you can identify, oh, this is elephant, this is a cat, and so forth. So that is that level of existence, the substance. So then you do not, as you grow spiritually, now the value of the names and forms is not for you. Even though you see, you know that they are same, when the substance is same in them, you do not have the value. You don't attribute any value, you just buy by weight, you know, that okay, 1 pound of animal crackers, you don't care whether what shapes and all they are there. So it is, you just buy by weight, it is substance that you are looking at. So the names and forms, they have existence and value at a certain level. And then there is the third level of complete, say, non-reality, that it is something that is a verbal internal contradiction, like oxymoron. It is that, well, if it is, how can a dumb person talk? That dumb person gave a big lecture. And now dumb in the sense of fool is possible, that it is, but the one who cannot speak, how can that person give a lecture? Cannot, basically. So it is similarly, there is this third level where it is completely unreal because of the contradiction, verbal contradiction involved. It is non-existence. So Shankaracharya refers to this world as the second layer, that it is relatively true. When you are at the level of names and forms, it is true. Even though you may know the ultimate reality is not these names and forms. Those who are stuck to those names and forms, they do not have access to the ultimate reality. Like the babies, most of us are spiritual babies. So therefore, we think that these names and forms, they are real. What do you mean I am not this body? When this body goes to New York, I say I go to New York. It is when I went to attend the lecture in Vedanta Society today, that the body went, that means I was there. But ask, were you there? And then half the time at least, most of us are not there. The body remains there, like your car parked in the parking lot is there. You are not in the car. You brought this car called body here, parked on these chairs, and then you got out of this car. So therefore, well, if I ask some question to somebody, hey, what do you think? The person wakes up as it were, oh, I was not listening. Does it happen to you, Jim, sometimes? Never? Okay. Okay. So it is like that. So it is this awareness of the names and forms when we are awake to spiritual reality, and we are still aware of that. So Sri Ramakrishna used to be aware of that, and in that awareness of both, he was able to teach that all the time, seeing the Divine Mother, and the same presence of Divine Mother would be seen in each and every being, and there he could therefore sense the obstacles in everybody's path. Everybody has a different mental constitution. Our faces are different from each other. That is how we recognize that, yes, I am recognizing you separately by looking at your faces, that okay, there is that Jitendra sitting there, and there that Rosio is sitting. I see that the faces are different. But our minds are far more different in appearance than faces. The faces are different, but that difference is comparatively much less than the difference in our mental shapes, sizes, and general qualities. It is very, very different, and therefore everybody has being at a different psychophysical position, has a different path to go to that divine reality, to that understanding. That is why Sri Ramakrishna could see the path of everybody, and the way one can progress, and so thus the obstacles in everybody's path, he could easily take it out. So this is how the teachership of Sri Ramakrishna is. It is was he then not aware of the non-dual reality? Was he not a non-dualist? And the answer given is that it therefore seems that he did not accept Shankara's non-dualism, in which the existence of the world is denied. No, it is not like that. The master accepted all three philosophical systems: non-dualism, Advaita; qualified non-dualism, Vishishtadvaita; and dualism, Dvaita. The Vedanta has various different interpretations depending on the state that you are in, depending on what you are dealing with, like a wooden chair. If you look at this, probably everybody is not able to see. This is a podium. made of wood, but it is wood shaped as a podium. If you have a chair made of wood, now it looks like chair, it has the shape of chair, but that it does not mean that its woodness have gone away, the wood appearing as chair. So, this is one way to look at that very reality. So, Vedanta has these more or less on broad level scale these three different schools, and these three different schools some think are mutually exclusive or contradictory to each other, but that is not the case. All these three different schools or their other subdivisions or overlappings, they all are really harmonious with each other. These three stem from the different mental attitudes that we have, the tendencies that we have. Accordingly, these three different interpretations are given. And we had one this thing scholar of philosophy had given a very nice short lecture on Sri Ramakrishna's these three ways of understanding the reality, and he told that how the duality, how does it spring in our awareness, and it was a very good way of presenting it. That young man said, well, duality is because of our innate belief in cause and effect. Cause and effect. That is why one wonderful devotee was asking me a little while ago, just about an hour ago before the class began. So, she was asking me, what is the cause of Maya? What is the cause of Maya? Because we have this somehow, this ingrained belief that there has to be why for everything, the cause and effect. So, this makes us seek the cause of this universe. Who made this universe, how it came up, and that is how you get to an answer, okay, God, the ultimate cause of this universe, Mahakarana, that ultimate cause of this universe. So, here is the universe and there is the God who manifests as this universe, cause and the effect. So, that is one way of looking at it. The qualified non-dualism is like you see the part and the whole. The God is the whole and each of us is part of that. It is because as human beings we have, just as there is the tendency for cause and effect, there is another innate tendency to seek unity in diversity. We see that all these diverse things, now in all of them you somehow want to see the unity. It is like you have all these furnitures, walls and other fixtures around here. They all in one name you call them chapel, but these are all different parts in the chapel, and then if the whole is real, the parts also are real. The chair, the chair has these parts, there is the seat, there is the back, there are the legs, and if you consider that these parts are unreal, there is no real legs, no seat and no these backrest, will you like to sit on that chair, Ritu? No, obviously, if the parts are real, then only that chair will be real. The chair is the unity, but this is the diversity. And you touch the chair, even if you are holding a leg of the chair, you still are having that chair. So, this is how the idea of qualified non-dualism springs up for us, that God is the whole, we are all parts of that God. And so, it is a beautiful idea. Then there is the idea of non-dualism, which is that there is no change at all there in God. There is no conversion, no separation, no action has been taken. If you make something like from wood, you make something like this podium, well, okay, there is some action that has gone into it. But God just appears as this universe without any change. It is not a transformation actually. Therefore, the example that is very dear to traditional non-dualists, that is the snake and rope, and that if there is a rope, but there is not enough light, and then you already were a little scared in the darkness, so the idea of snake comes there, and then instead of seeing the rope, now you see the snake. Now that snake is not real, it never was. When you see the rope, you do not have that understanding that before it was a snake, and now this, because I came close, this snake vanished, got scared of me, and it ran somewhere and kept the rope there. No, that is, we immediately conclude that what was actually the rope was in ignorance, I took it for the snake. So, similarly, this world is an appearance on the one divine presence. This is called a non-dualistic understanding. Both of all three of these and many variations, many permutations, combinations of these three, all are valid, all are correct, depending on the spiritual position, evolution of that person. So, Sri Ramakrishna, it is said here, Sri Ramakrishna said that those three beliefs appear one after another according to the evolutionary progress of the human mind. Initially, it will be very difficult, impossible almost for a person to conceive the idea of total non-duality. The mind is seeped into this reality of this world. Only therefore the question comes, what caused this world? You seek the cause of it, and then somehow or other you think of God as the originator and controller of that, and then you want to propitiate that God so that you will be happy and free and all that. So, that is how the common worship and approach to God is, and that is quite natural, nothing wrong about that, that okay, let me go to this temple or this church and propitiate that God who is controller of everything. It is, see how much we are eager, to submit the applications to even the governor of, say, our small state, Rhode Island, That it is, oh, but then I have to approach the governor, I have to do this submission, so that whatever I want, by the if the governor consents, it will be done. It is, we want grant for our organization, and then we have to approach. Do you do that, Charlie? That we have to approach the governor or those who are in control, pray to them. It is that, look, this is how they, in such a dire condition, situation we are. So, formerly you had graciously given the grant, why won't you release this time? So, please release, not only release but increase it, because our expenses have gone up. So, we keep on praying to that governor of the universe, a very natural phenomena. Those who do not believe in God, even the atheists, when they are caught in a terrible situation, all that atheism goes out of window. The prayer springs up in the mind just automatically. Later on they may not acknowledge, because then their accepted position of being atheist will go away. But if you are cornered, if you have no escape, you are in a situation like life and death, then the prayer spontaneously springs up. So, it is and nothing wrong about it. It is, even if you don't accept any God, okay, you accept some power, you can give it another name, that's all, that's fine. You accept it. Even that story is very funny about that Niels Bohr, one of the topmost scientists of last century, the father of quantum physics. So, he had a horseshoe nailed at the entrance of his house. It is, many do it for good luck, a cultural custom, that put a horseshoe on your door. So, he also had a horseshoe there, and one of his friends, scientist friends, asked, hey, buddy, you don't believe in such things, I am sure. He said, of course, I don't believe, but they still work. So, whether I believe or I don't believe, it is, but it still works. So, it is, the idea is like this, that the cause, when you are considering yourself as a minuscule being, then automatically you know that there is a governor who runs your life. I cannot tell what will happen. Everything, instead of saying God, you say destiny. Well, it was destined like that. What can I do? But it is some power that governs everything. That is God. This is the dualistic understanding. And till a person evolves to see that divine interpenetrating things, you cannot teach that person anything more than that. It is perfectly acceptable. If the person then spiritually evolves more, then through that evolutionary process, one ascends to the next level, that yes, God is in me, God is the whole, I am the part, this whole universe is subsisting in God. A beautiful understanding, it is nothing wrong. You have just spiritually evolved a little bit, and thus you get that God is in me, I am in God, and we are all, very closely related like that. This idea, very good idea, this is the qualified non-dualism. And when one loses at the complete completely this ignorance is gone about name and form. Oh, they are not there. The snake was never there. These names and forms, this world was not there in that deep samadhi. Where was the world? It is gone. It was all not real at all. So when you see, you sense that that these are appearing and disappearing. They are not real. So this is the next level of non-dualism. So not that when you attain the higher level you disregard the lower one. Yes, that also remains there, that it is because you see that that also was an understanding, nothing wrong about that either. So, the higher understanding includes all the other lower understandings also. In fact, these words also are not used by those who see that this is higher and this is lower. And whatever is good for that person, that's it. It is if that person is suitable to grasp the understanding of divine as duality, fine, the question is getting to establish a connection between I and God. And that's the most important thing. Whether you have this connection through duality or qualified non-duality or non-duality, these things then remain secondary. We shall continue the discussion. The time is over for today, and we will just meditate for 30 seconds, and then if you have any question or comment, you are welcome. Yes, please. Good, there is no question today. So we shall conclude with the closing prayers. So chant, all of you should chant this. That is why it is displayed on the screen. It is not that only I have to chant. Naomi, chant loudly. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.